We are all about the hamstrings today. Whether yours are tight and sore all the way up through torn and painful, these are the best stretches and exercises that you can do at home to help them to feel better. Now, the whole key to this video is I want you to keep everything within your pain limits. I'll present these stretches and exercises in order from easiest to hardest or least aggressive to most aggressive. Feel free to progress through them and do more and more until we get to a point where it starts to be painful. If it's painful, we need to go back one level and keep everything within a pain-free range and then progress into the higher level activities as your pain allows. This is especially true if you recently injured your hamstring, recently strained or tore your hamstring. Things have to be kept as pain-free as possible. I do hope these help you to feel better. If so, I always love to hear from you guys. Comment your experience down below. That being said, let's get started. Now, the first thing that I always recommend is that we start with some kind of massage or mobilization to that hamstring muscle. This is a great way to loosen it up, promote relaxation, increase blood flow into that area, and promote healing. Now, my favorite way to do that is with a foam roller. What I would recommend that you start with is both legs over the foam roller. That's a little less aggressive. If that feels okay, you can then cross one leg over the other to put more pressure on the injured leg. But just make sure that you go all the way from your knee up into your butt, up to your hip to just get the full length of that hamstring muscle. About 60 seconds worth is a good number to start with. Once we've done that, the next thing we want to get into is some gentle stretching. The first and simplest one that I always recommend would be on a stool. I've got a stool here in front of me. It's maybe 8 inches high. What we're gonna do is take that affected leg and just prop the heel up onto that stool. Now, if your hamstrings are very tight or if they were recently injured, this alone could be a pretty good stretch. So again, you want to keep it comfortable. If that feels okay, I want you to keep your posture nice and tall, keep your back nice and straight, nice and flat, and then lean forward at your chest. And as you do that, you're gonna enhance that stretch and feel more of that stretch into your hamstrings. This one's also convenient because you can kind of do this one anywhere, a curb or a stair, multiple times throughout your day. This one's very accessible in that regard. I would hold that for 20 seconds and I would repeat that 3 times. Now, the next stretch, this is gonna be a seated hamstring stretch. You're gonna come to the edge of your bed. Typically bed works best. Kitchen table also works well because it's a little higher. But what we're gonna do is sit down on the edge with that injured leg extended. So if my right hamstring were injured, that's the one that's extended. This leg is down underneath me, and that's really gonna enhance that stretch. It keeps your pelvis in a better position. Now what I want you to do is grab a belt or a towel or a sheet or a dog leash. All work really well. You're gonna loop that right around your toes. Now in this position, once again, keep your back nice and flat, so sit up nice and tall, and then what I want you to do is pull the tails of whatever it is that you're using towards you. As I pull that towards me, I'm gonna get a good stretch right here in my calf, right here in the back of my knee, and up into that hamstring muscle. Just a great stretch for the entire back of the leg. Now what you can do is, again, keeping your back nice and flat, straight and tall, I want you to lean forward. So I don't want you to round forward like this. I want you to sit up nice and tall and just lean your torso forward. And as you do that, oh man, that really enhances that stretch all through the back of your leg. As you lean forward, that's really gonna be right in that hamstring muscle. So again, the goal here is to keep it comfortable, keep it as pain-free as you can, but those are some steps and some progressions that you can take that through to get more of a stretch, depending on your tolerance level. Now, the one that I really like, we're going to still grab that same, strap or whatever it is that you're using. Now we're going to do what we call a supine hamstring stretch. I'm going to loop that around my affected leg and then lay down on my back with that leg extended. Now in this position, what I can do is use my hands to pull my foot up towards the ceiling, even up towards my head, as far as I can take it, pain-free, or until I get a good comfortable stretch in the back of that hamstring. If that's down here, that's where we start, and then we gradually work into more motion as pain allows. The other thing that I like about this is right now my knee is locked out, and you can see that I can comfortably pull to about right there. In this position, what I can do now is slightly unlock my knee, and then I can pull it a little further, but what I notice is that that stretch creeps higher up towards my backside. And so the more stretch that you introduce in your knee, you'll be able to pull it higher, but you should also feel that creep up higher towards your hamstring. If you recently strained your hamstring, chances are it's up pretty high. If we introduce just a little bit of a stretch and then pull on it just like this, oh man, see, that's right up there high. That's a great way that you can kind of manipulate where you primarily feel that stretch. Keep it comfortable, hold it for 20 seconds, and then repeat that 3 times. Now that we're stretched out and loosened up, let's get into some strengthening exercises, see if we can get a little more function back into those hamstrings. The first thing to start with is going to be a heel slide. You're going to lay down on your back with that injured leg extended out straight. Now activate that hamstring muscle to pull your heel up towards your backside as far as you can slide it, and then push it right back out straight. This usually goes better if you take your shoe off, so we'll keep that in mind also. But we're just, again, introducing some simple active motion into that hamstring. We're just getting it used to pulling a little bit. This is a really simple kind of gravity eliminated way to do that. And usually what I recommend we start with is 10 to 15 repetitions, take a break, and then we're gonna repeat that 3 times. Now, if that feels okay, the next step that I'd get into is some active motion that's against gravity. The easiest way to do that would be standing, so a standing hamstring curl. We're gonna stand with really good posture and then activate that hamstring to pull the heel up behind you towards the ceiling and then return back down to that starting position. So again, a little more aggressive. You're gonna feel that a little bit more in the hamstring, but if you can tolerate it, 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 15 is a good number to shoot for on that one. Now we get into more resisted motion, but we're gonna do what we call an isometric, meaning that hamstring isn't going to be moving much. And so bridges are a great way to do that. Lay down on your back with both knees bent, and then we're gonna fire those hamstrings. What I like to do is even lift your toes up off of the floor and dig in with your heels. As soon as you do that, as soon as those heels dig in, you're gonna feel those hamstring muscles actually activate. So dig in with your heels and then use those hamstrings, use your glutes to push your hips up towards the ceiling and then return back to that starting position. And so no motion is occurring, meaning I'm not bending my knee, I'm not actively extending and flexing my knee. And so this is a relatively safe position for these hamstrings to be in, but we are using them and activating them up and down against this resistance. And so it's a really good exercise. 10 to 15 reps repeated 3 times is again a great number to shoot for. If that feels okay, we can go one step further and do a single leg bridge. And so if my right hamstring were the one that's affected, I'm now going to extend my left leg, and then I can repeat that same thing, but now I'm doing a single leg bridge. Again, much more aggressive because now I'm lifting all of my weight with one leg instead of 2, but if you can tolerate it, that's the next progression in these exercises. Now, the one that I like the most, but again, most aggressive, so keep that in mind, I don't want anything to be painful, would be right here with an exercise ball. And what I'm going to do is lay down on my back with both feet up on that ball. This is a great way that you can do a hamstring curl at home. In this position, activate the glutes to lift the hips up off of the table, and now we're going to activate those hamstring muscles to pull that ball up towards our backside and then extend back out straight again. Nice and slow, nice and in control. You're really gonna feel this in those hamstring muscles in the back of your leg. This is a little more aggressive. You might have to work your way up into this, but if you can do 10 repetitions on this, and if you can repeat that 3 times, that's my typical recommendation. If you found this helpful, and if you'd like more from Tone and Tighten, hit the circle right here to subscribe. For some reason, YouTube thinks you might like this video. Check that one out from Tone and Tighten. I hope this helps, hope you feel better, and hope to see you again soon.